In this video, we're going to be covering the horrible truth about the Apple Watch Ultra. This is a weird one, guys. This is going to be a bit of a polarizing video, shall we say? And it's weird for me because normally I'm quite respectful to all brands. However, this Apple Watch has a horrible truth behind it. And actually, Apple as a brand really annoy me in a lot of ways. They really, I don't want to swear here, but they really get on my nerves. Things like having the Apple port for the charger. They're now changing it to USB-C, thank God. But for years, you had to buy a separate charger. The iPhone 15 snapping in half because it's titanium. That's something you're paying a hell of a lot of money for. You've got just tons of little niggly things that only Apple users will know. Now, I love Apple products. I've actually got iMac, I've got MacBook Pro, and I've also got an iPhone. However, I believe this watch is unveiling the horrible truth behind Apple. Welcome back to the Chisholm Hunter channel. My name is Harrison, as always, and today we're talking about the Apple Watch Ultra. I keep saying watch for some reason. The Apple Watch Ultra. What I like, what I don't like, and what I think the horrible truth is behind it. And also, have you noticed recently that your phone's running slightly slower? Maybe that's because you updated it and Apple have made it literally run slower, literally draining the battery faster. There's another little thing that just Apple do, and everyone kind of just goes, okay, it's Apple, they're big enough. And that's what I hate. I hate the control factor. And I believe what they're introducing with this watch is more control over the people. But let's talk about the specs first. Starting with the body of this watch. The body of this watch actually comes in titanium. Now, they probably had to use titanium here due to steel being a lot heavier, and I don't want to swear here, the size of this thing is just, see, for someone that wears luxury watches, is just ridiculous. I mean, it looks like a phone on your wrist. If you go back 20 years, maybe back to the Nokia days, this was almost the size of your Nokia. And I'll get onto this, why I think they're doing this in a second, but that's probably why they've used titanium, to keep the weight quite light. And they kind of need to do that because it comes in at 43 mil in diameter and 49 mil lengthwise. So it's a big, bulky face. This is not for small wrists. No way could I pull this off. Let's begin with the body of this watch. Something that I actually like. I actually like it more than I thought it would, and I like it because it's titanium. Now, when you're asking the price that these guys are asking for this watch, it takes a lot of convincing. It takes a lot of features, and titanium is definitely one of those features. It makes the watch lighter, more durable. It is genuinely a really nice metal, but more than that, it actually gives it a darker aesthetic than steel does, which is just a really, really nice touch. Now, to kind of cap that and to caveat that, they probably had to use titanium because of the length of this watch and because of the thickness of this watch. If you think back to I'm not sure if you guys are old enough for this or maybe we've got some younger viewers. Let's think back to your first phone. Mine was, I think it was like a Nokia brick kind of phone. Or maybe it was a Sony, remember those Sony Ericsson flip phones? It was kind of like that. And it was almost the size of this Apple Watch. Now, I think that's unbelievable that we're now wearing essentially a Sony Ericsson on our wrist. It's absolutely wild. But this comes in at 43 mil in diameter, 49 mil in sort of lengthwise. So it's a big, bulky watch. It's definitely not for my wrist, coming in at 6.5 inches-ish. However, I do understand why it's that big, because without it being that big, it'd be harder to control the screen, harder to see, and less addictive. Now, on the back of this watch, you do have the heart monitor. Now, I have used the heart rate feature. It says my heart rate's higher than I thought it would be. Maybe I'm unfit, or maybe it's inaccurate. It has less accuracy, I feel, than the older Apple Watch. That's just from using my sister's. And that brings me on to another negative of having such a big screen. It is a fingerprint magnet. For someone that enjoys luxury watches, it just is unbearable to look at. It's filled with gunk all the time, and we had to wash this watch before we actually took it on camera. I get it, phones are the same, they get dirty. However, having this on your wrist, on show to everyone at all times, you'd want it to be clean. Moving on to the strap of this watch. This is the strap that's meant to be on it. It's a little bit dirty. Cam's been working out in it, I think. It's awful. It's probably one of the worst straps for a watch that you're paying 850 quid for I've ever seen. That's not even a joke. Now the strap that Cam's put on it, the blue rubber, that looks nice. And I love how it's integrated at the buckle here on the face. It just looks incredible with a rubber strap. Why they give you this, I have no idea. So diving into the actual face of this watch, into the specs and what it actually allows you to do, a lot of this watch is based on workouts. And this is the thing. People believe that they're going to be more active when they wear this watch. But I feel they're just going to have more screen time when they wear this watch because phones, by their nature, are so damn addictive. And they're getting bigger and bigger, as are the Apple Watches. You can see them over the generations getting bigger and bigger. And because of that, they're getting more addictive and more addictive. Now, yes, there's features on here that are really, really cool and really helpful. You have an SOS feature for maybe elderly people. However, on that note, when is an elderly person ever going to use an Apple Watch? My dad struggles to work his own phone, and he's by no means elderly. So I just don't really get the kind of crossover there. Now, yeah, there is workout features. You can collab with people. It measures your heart rate. There's tons of cool stuff. Alarm clocks. They've thrown everything at this watch. But I feel, and this is just my feeling, that it's just another way of getting people addicted to their phones. Here's the thing, guys. We all spend far too much time on our phones as it is. If you look back in your life and remember the most fun times, where you were laughing, genuine laughter, where you were maybe having a drink with your friends on a hike, whatever it might have been, the odds are you weren't staring at a screen during that really enjoyable, amazing time. And that's the problem that I have with Apple Watches. It's making phones even more accessible because they're permanently bound to your wrist. Now, I want everyone to do me a favor right now, and I'm going to do it with you guys. I'm going to get my phone out right now, and I'm going to look at my screen time for the week. Actually, I'm just going to look at my screen time today. I've spent 1 hour and 50 minutes on my phone today. I've spent 25 minutes on TikTok, 23 minutes on Instagram, 11 minutes on WhatsApp. There's probably an hour today that I could use for something else, use for a hobby, start building something, work more on YouTube, hang out with friends, get a coffee with a loved one. And that's what my phone is taking away from me. Now, when I go to my daily average, Jesus God, this is bad. When I go to my daily average for the week, it's 4 hours and 48 minutes. How bad is that? Instagram is taking up 5 hours and 47 minutes. Now, here's the thing. A lot of my job is online. I do YouTube, I do camera equipment, I love camera equipment, I'm a photographer and videographer by nature. A lot of my job is on social media, so I try to limit myself from social media when I can. Now, obviously, looking at those stats, it's not going well. So why would I then tape a social media device to my wrist? Why would I then literally integrate it so personally with my life? And then you get on to the next issue, which is tracking. Have you ever got into your car and Apple all of a sudden knows exactly where you're going? And you're like, how did you know that? Oh, it's really convenient. Yeah. And actually, it's really good that it does that. It's quick, saves you a lot of time. But how the hell did you know that? Well, now that you've got your Apple Watch on, it's measuring your heart rate. It's measuring your location via GPS. It is measuring everything about you, and it's all relayed to Apple. And that scares me. And to top it off, the fact that Apple is trying to monopolize a market with solely their products, put everyone else out of business, that also scares me because you're kind of being controlled by Apple. Without going off on a total rant here, I think there's 3 issues that I can see. 3 big major issues. One of them, smart marketing. They're popular. People want to show off that they have the newest Apple product. And as a marketer, I can get behind that. I love what they do with their marketing. Doesn't mean to say that the product's not addictive. And that brings me on to the second one. Addictive nature of these products. You then can put your phone away somewhere, pretend that you're not on a screen, but in reality, you're looking at your notifications on your watch. You are more connected than ever, which makes you more disconnected to other people than ever. And next we go on to control. The fact that these products literally are controlling your life. And I say that in the kind of widest way possible because if Apple starts slowing down your charge, you're not going to sit with a faulty phone. You're going to go and get a new phone. And what's the easiest conversion to do? Apple to Apple. That kind of goes to show why I love vintage and luxury watches so much. They're so simple. They tell the time. They're not addictive. They're pretty to look at, but they don't measure you. They're just a beating heart, an engine of a lost era that we should strive to get back. I truly believe that. I truly believe that the old ways were sometimes the best ways, before social media, before all this information that is hurled at us from all directions that we can't take it all in. I mean, I had a Whoop, which basically measures your fitness over 3 to 6 months. Every weekend, I would check my Whoop, and I knew exactly what I was doing wrong. I was maybe binge eating at the weekends, pizza. I was maybe drinking at the weekends, which would then impact my Sunday. And I was maybe not sleeping because I was drinking at the weekends. Did I change it? No. So information's great, but only if you do something with it. Try and not have unnecessary information flung at you from all directions. And that's essentially what social media is. It's essentially what this is feeding you. This is a fast food watch, and I'm just not for that. So listen, guys, if you're looking for a watch and you really are dead set on a digital watch, go and get a Casio F91W. It's 10 quid and it will do the job. Go and get a Garmin, go and get a Tag Heuer Connected. Things that will measure and help you, but not bombard you with social media, texts, notifications, information. Beep, 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 beep. It drives you insane. So just relax. Don't take in all that information. Try and streamline your life. And it's something that I'm definitely doing more. I know this is a weird video. I get it. For me especially. Normally I talk about luxury watches and luxury watches alone. But if you agree, hit that subscribe button. And hopefully, if I've not upset anyone, I'll see you in the next video.